You know, when people start noticing hair on their pillow or that widening part line or a thinner ponytail, it's not just about losing hair, it's about losing confidence. And the thing is, most people start treating hair loss from the outside. They rush to buy shampoos, oils, and expensive serums. But here's the truth. Your hair is not dead protein sitting on your scalp. It's a living extension of your internal health. If something is going wrong inside your body, your hair will be the first thing to show it. So before you spend money on external fixes, you have to understand what's happening inside your body. The real question is, why does the body decide to stop growing hair? Because believe me, your body is not against you. It doesn't just decide to punish you with hair loss. There's a reason. Hair growth is a survival luxury. Your body only grows beautiful, thick hair when it feels safe, nourished, and hormonally balanced. But when there's stress, nutrient deficiency, or hormonal disruption, the body says, all right, we'll cut off non-essential functions for now. And hair growth is one of the first to go. That's how intelligent your body is. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked causes of hair loss. Stress. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, and cortisol does more than just make you anxious or tired. It directly constricts the blood vessels in your scalp. That means less oxygen, fewer nutrients reaching the follicles. It also increases something called telogen effluvium, a condition where your hair prematurely enters the shedding phase. You might not see the damage today, but 3 months later, boom, you start seeing handfuls of hair coming out in the shower. That's how delayed the stress effect can be. Then there's insulin resistance. Most people don't realize that their blood sugar control affects their hair just as much as their diet or hormones. When insulin levels stay high, it creates inflammation and damages small blood vessels, including those that feed your scalp. That's why so many people with prediabetes or PCOS experience hair thinning. The follicles are simply not getting the nutrition and blood flow they need. And the problem is, insulin resistance can exist silently for years before you even get diagnosed. So if you're eating frequently, snacking all day, or consuming refined carbs and sugar, you're unknowingly feeding the problem. Another big piece of the puzzle is hormonal imbalance, particularly DHT or dihydrotestosterone. You've probably heard of it. It's a more potent form of testosterone, and when it builds up in the scalp, it shrinks the hair follicles. That's why men often lose hair in that typical pattern: temples, crown, top of the head. But here's what most people miss. DHT doesn't become a problem until your liver becomes sluggish or your body's detox pathways are overloaded. So again, it's not about killing DHT, it's about fixing why your body is overproducing or not clearing it properly. And that often goes back to insulin, liver health, and stress. Let's go deeper into nutrition, because if your diet isn't supporting your follicles, they can't stay alive. Your hair needs amino acids, trace minerals, and vitamins, especially zinc, biotin, vitamin D, and iron. But just taking supplements won't work if your digestive system is weak. If you have low stomach acid, poor bile flow, or gut inflammation, you're not absorbing those nutrients properly. That's why many people take biotin for months and see no change, because the problem is not the supplement, it's the absorption. When you fix your digestion, your hair starts to respond naturally. Another thing to understand, your hair reflects your mitochondria, like the tiny powerhouses in your cells that produce energy. Weak mitochondria mean weak hair growth. When your body runs on glucose all the time instead of fat, those mitochondria don't function optimally. That's why a ketogenic or low-carb lifestyle often improves hair quality. It's not magic, it's biochemistry. You're improving the efficiency of your cells, including those in your scalp. Now let's talk about the liver for a moment. Your liver detoxifies hormones, toxins, and old metabolic waste. If your liver is overloaded from alcohol, processed foods, or too many medications, those toxins circulate in your bloodstream and reach your scalp. The follicles are extremely sensitive to toxicity. So detoxification isn't just about green juices or cleansing teas, it's about giving your liver a break. Fewer toxins in, more nutrients out. That's the real formula. And let's not forget thyroid function. Your thyroid is like the master regulator of metabolism. When it slows down, even slightly, your hair growth slows down too. You might not notice symptoms immediately, but things like cold hands and feet, fatigue, and dry skin are clues that your thyroid is underperforming. Supporting your thyroid with selenium, iodine, and enough protein can make a huge difference. But maybe the most important message here is this: hair loss is a symptom, not the disease itself. Your body is trying to tell you something. Maybe your stress levels are too high, maybe your diet is off, or maybe you're missing key nutrients. Instead of trying to fight your hair loss from the outside, start decoding what your body is communicating. Every symptom is feedback. And once you start listening, you can actually begin to reverse the process. I've seen people regrow hair naturally once they fix their internal environment, balancing hormones, reducing sugar, sleeping better, healing their gut, and giving the body the raw materials it needs. It doesn't happen overnight, but when your body feels safe again, it restarts the growth cycle. And that's what real healing looks like, not forcing it, but allowing it by creating the right internal conditions. So before we even talk about external treatments, oils, or fancy products, the first step is awareness, understanding how your body works and why it might have stopped prioritizing your hair. Because once you understand the why, the how to fix it becomes clear. Now, once you've understood that your hair loss is a reflection of what's happening inside your body, the next step is to start supporting that internal environment. Think of it like gardening. If the soil is dry, toxic, or missing minerals, no matter how good the seed is, it won't grow. Your scalp is like that soil. It needs nutrients, circulation, and hormonal balance to allow the hair follicles to stay alive. Let's start with your diet, because this is where most people go wrong. The modern diet is incredibly inflammatory. Too many refined carbs, vegetable oils, and processed foods. Every time you eat junk, you're spiking insulin and creating oxidative stress. And that oxidative stress damages the follicle cells. Hair roots are highly sensitive to inflammation. So if you really want to reverse hair loss, you must first stop what's damaging your body. Cut out refined sugar, pastries, white bread, seed oils, and anything ultra-processed. Instead, build your meals around whole foods, eggs, fish, leafy greens, nuts, and high-quality fats. Speaking of fats, healthy fats are crucial. Your hair's structure relies on fatty acids. Omega-3s from fish oil or flaxseed oil nourish the follicles and reduce inflammation. Even your scalp sebum, the natural oil that keeps hair hydrated, depends on balanced fat metabolism. When you go low fat or consume the wrong kinds of fat, your scalp dries out and your hair becomes brittle. People often fear fat, but your hormones are made from cholesterol. Without good fats, your body can't make proper hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and thyroid hormones, all of which influence hair growth. Another overlooked nutrient is zinc. Zinc deficiency is one of the top causes of hair shedding. It's involved in protein synthesis and helps your follicles repair themselves. Foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and beef liver are excellent sources. But remember, if you have digestive issues, especially low stomach acid, you may not absorb zinc properly. That's why improving digestion is a foundation step. Chew slowly, don't drink too much water with meals, and add fermented foods like sauerkraut or kefir to your diet. These small habits help your body extract nutrients more efficiently. Then there's iron and ferritin. For women especially, low ferritin levels, even within the normal range, can trigger hair loss. Ferritin stores iron in your cells, and when it drops, the follicles enter a resting phase. That's why women often lose hair after pregnancy or heavy menstrual cycles. The solution isn't always iron tablets, though. It's improving absorption and ensuring you're getting vitamin C to help the body use iron. Now let's talk about something fascinating: circulation. Your scalp has tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the follicles. When circulation is poor, even if your diet is perfect, those nutrients can't reach the target. Massage your scalp daily, not aggressively but gently, using your fingertips. It increases blood flow and stimulates the hair roots. Some people use rosemary oil or peppermint oil mixed with a carrier oil. Both have been shown to enhance circulation and follicle activity. But again, these work with the body, not against it. You can't massage your way out of nutritional deficiencies, but when combined with internal healing, these external steps speed up the process. Another critical point, protein. Your hair is made of keratin, a protein built from amino acids. If your protein intake is low or your digestion can't break it down, your hair can't rebuild itself. You need high-quality protein, eggs, fish, meat, or plant sources like lentils and chia seeds. And to digest protein properly, you need stomach acid. If you often feel bloated or heavy after eating, consider adding apple cider vinegar before meals. It helps acidify the stomach, improving protein breakdown and nutrient absorption. Let's address one myth. Many people blame their genes and give up. It runs in my family, they say. But here's what I want you to understand. Genetics load the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. You might have a genetic tendency toward hair loss, but that doesn't mean it's your destiny. Epigenetics, the way your environment influences gene expression, is far more powerful. When you change your diet, manage stress, improve sleep, and balance hormones, you can literally turn off the genes that promote hair thinning. That's the empowering part of this journey. Stress, again, plays a massive role, and not just mental stress, there's also physical stress, lack of sleep, overtraining, and even chronic dieting. When cortisol stays high, it suppresses thyroid function, disrupts estrogen and testosterone balance, and increases inflammation. So, reducing stress isn't just about meditation, it's also about restoring balance. Get quality sleep, avoid late-night screens, walk in nature, and give your body time to rest. Hair grows during rest and repair mode, not in fight or flight mode. Then we have the gut connection. Your gut houses billions of bacteria that produce vitamins, regulate inflammation, and even influence hormones. If your gut flora is out of balance from antibiotics, sugar, or processed foods, it directly affects hair growth. A healthy gut means better nutrient absorption and less systemic inflammation. Include prebiotic and probiotic foods like garlic, onions, yogurt, and kimchi. When your gut heals, your hair starts to respond. Hydration also matters. Dehydration thickens your blood, making it harder for nutrients to reach the scalp. Aim to drink clean water, but don't overdo it. Balance is key. Electrolytes are essential too. Sodium, potassium, and magnesium regulate fluid balance and cellular energy. Coconut water or mineral salt water can help maintain proper hydration without flushing out minerals. And here's something most people never think about: toxins in hair care products. Many shampoos contain sulfates, parabens, and silicones that strip natural oils and suffocate the follicles. Always check your labels. Use gentle, sulfate-free products or even natural cleansers like diluted apple cider vinegar. The goal isn't to coat your hair, but to support your scalp's natural environment. Your scalp's microbiome, yes, your scalp has one, is just as important as your guts. Overwashing, using harsh chemicals, or applying too many synthetic products can disrupt that balance. A healthy scalp microbiome keeps inflammation low and strengthens the follicles. Sometimes the simplest thing, like giving your scalp a break from constant products, can start the healing process. Everything your body does is intelligent. Hair loss is its way of saying, something's off, fix me. When you start restoring balance through nutrition, stress management, sleep, and detoxification, your body feels safe again. And when the body feels safe, it starts to rebuild what was lost, including your hair. Now that we've talked about food, digestion, and the internal environment, let's go deeper into hormones, because this is where things either begin to heal or completely fall apart. Your hormones are chemical messengers that tell every part of your body what to do. When they're balanced, your body feels safe and productive. When they're not, your body shifts into survival mode. Hair growth simply stops being a priority. Let's start with insulin again, because it ties into almost everything. When you eat too frequently, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, dessert, your insulin never gets a break. High INSU. Lin levels trigger inflammation and stimulate an enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT, that same hormone that shrinks follicles. So by constantly eating even healthy food, you're actually driving hormonal imbalance. The fix isn't another supplement, it's giving your body time to rest. Try intermittent fasting. It doesn't have to be extreme. Start with 12 hours overnight, then 14, then 16. When you lower insulin, you automatically reduce inflammation and DHT activity. Now let's talk about thyroid hormones. Your thyroid controls metabolism, which affects every single cell, including the cells inside your hair follicles. If your thyroid is sluggish, everything slows down: cell turnover, nutrient delivery, and hair growth. You might notice your hair becoming dry, coarse, or thinning at the edges. To support your thyroid naturally, you need iodine, selenium, and tyrosine. Sea kelp, Brazil nuts, and eggs are wonderful sources. But what most people don't realize is that stress and low-calorie diets suppress thyroid function. So, starving yourself to lose weight often backfires. You lose hair instead. Nourish your body, don't punish it. Another key hormone is cortisol, the stress hormone. It's meant to protect you in emergencies, but chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated all day long. High cortisol breaks down protein, steals nutrients, and suppresses other hormones. Over time, it even thins the skin on your scalp, making the follicles weaker. That's why people who go through emotional trauma often notice hair loss a few months later. To fix that, you must calm your nervous system. Deep breathing, walking outside, early bedtime, sunlight exposure, these are not luxuries, they are therapies. The body heals only in a parasympathetic state, the rest and digest mode. Now let's talk about the liver again. The liver doesn't just detoxify chemicals, it also casts down hormones. When it's overloaded, old hormones linger in the bloodstream and create imbalances. Think of estrogen dominance, too much estrogen relative to progesterone. This can happen in both men and women, and it contributes to hair thinning. Supporting your liver means removing what stresses it: alcohol, fried foods, and unnecessary medications. Add cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, kale, cabbage. They contain compounds that help the liver metabolize hormones correctly. When your liver works efficiently, your hormones naturally rebalance, and that shows up in your hair. Then there's testosterone. People often think it's bad for hair, but that's not true. You actually need healthy testosterone for hair growth and strength. The problem occurs when testosterone converts excessively into DHT. And what drives that conversion? High insulin, inflammation, and poor liver clearance. So when you fix those, testosterone becomes your friend again. Let's also look at female hormone patterns. Women often experience hair loss during menopause, postpartum, or when using birth control pills. These are all times of hormonal fluctuation. The key is to stabilize estrogen and progesterone naturally through whole foods, adequate fat, and liver support. If you're constantly dieting or avoiding fats, your body can't produce hormones properly. Avocados, olive oil, and fatty fish are not your enemies. They are building blocks for balanced hormones. Now let's get practical. What can you do each day to restore this balance? Start your morning with sunlight exposure. It helps regulate cortisol and boosts vitamin D. Vitamin D is crucial because it activates genes responsible for hair follicle cycling. Without enough vitamin D, hair stays stuck in the resting phase. So spend at least 15 minutes in sunlight or supplement if you're deficient. Midday, focus on hydration and movement. Gentle exercise like walking or yoga increases circulation and lowers insulin. Remember, blood flow equals nutrient flow. You don't need high-intensity workouts that spike cortisol. Consistency matters more than intensity. For meals, think of the plate as a hormonal stabilizer. Healthy fat, quality protein, fiber, and color. Each one serves a purpose. Fat calms the nervous system, protein repairs cells, fiber supports detox, and color from vegetables provides antioxidants that neutralize free radicals damaging your scalp. In the evening, focus on recovery. Lower the lights, stay off screens, and allow melatonin, your sleep hormone, to rise naturally. Melatonin isn't just for sleep, it's also an antioxidant that protects hair follicles from oxidative stress. That's why poor sleepers often experience faster aging and thinning hair. When you sleep deeply, your body releases growth hormone, and that's when repair happens. Another thing that's often missed, breathing. Most people breathe shallowly from their chest. When you breathe deeply from your diaphragm, you increase oxygen levels and stimulate parasympathetic activity. Oxygen is critical for hair follicles. So something as simple as deep breathing exercises twice a day can literally improve scalp health over time. You might be wondering, how long does it take to see results? Hair grows in cycles, roughly 3 to 6 months. So whatever you're doing today, you'll see the reflection of it a few months later. Patience is part of healing. Don't judge your progress week by week, track it month by month. You're rebuilding an internal system, not just growing hair. One more thing, detox through sweating. Your skin is a detox organ. Regular sweating through sauna or exercise helps release heavy metals and toxins that burden the liver. When those toxins clear, nutrients flow better and inflammation drops. Some people notice their scalp feels lighter after consistent detoxification, that's circulation coming back. And finally, don't underestimate mindset. Constant worry, fear, and frustration activate stress pathways that physically constrict blood vessels. Gratitude, calm, and confidence do the opposite. They relax and open those channels. Healing is as much mental as it is physical. Your body listens to your thoughts. If you tell yourself every day, I'm healing, I'm improving, my body knows what to do, it responds in alignment. The process of reversing hair loss isn't about fighting your body, it's about partnering with it. Each change, better food, balanced hormones, calmer mind, tells your body it's safe again. And when it's safe, it starts rebuilding. When you start fixing your internal environment, your hormones, stress, and digestion, the next step is to give your hair the raw materials it needs to rebuild. Think of this as the construction phase. You've cleared the site, stabilized the foundation, and now it's time to supply the bricks, the cement, and the workers. Your hair is made mostly of protein called keratin, but keratin synthesis depends on several key nutrients that most people are deficient in. Let's start with biotin. It's probably the most popular hair nutrient, but the truth is, biotin by itself rarely fixes hair loss. Biotin works only when the rest of your body is in balance, when you're digesting protein properly and when your gut bacteria are healthy, because your gut actually produces biotin. If you're taking biotin but still eating sugar, processed foods, or have gut inflammation, you're wasting your effort. Focus first on fixing the gut, then biotin from foods like eggs, almonds, and cauliflower will naturally start working for you. Zinc, on the other hand, is a game changer. Zinc is required for DNA repair and tissue regeneration. Every new hair follicle cell needs zinc to form. A deficiency can cause shedding, slow growth, and even dandruff. But be careful. Too much zinc can throw off copper balance. Nature designed them to work together. Foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and red meat provide both in natural ratios. That's always better than synthetic pills. Next is vitamin D, one of the most critical nutrients for turning on the genes that control hair follicle cycling. Low vitamin D means your follicles stay dormant. Most people living indoors are chronically deficient, even if they think they get enough sun. The skin needs direct sunlight without sunscreen for 15 to 20 minutes a day to synthesize D3. And since vitamin D is fat-soluble, you need dietary fat to absorb it properly. That's another reason low-fat diets can backfire. Iron and ferritin deserve another mention here, especially for women. If your ferritin is below 70 ml, your hair follicles don't have enough stored iron to build new strands. And iron works synergistically with vitamin C, so include citrus, bell peppers, or strawberries with your meals. But always remember, if digestion is weak, or you have inflammation in the gut, iron won't absorb efficiently. Healing the gut is still step one. Now let's talk about collagen. As we age, collagen production naturally declines. Collagen gives your hair strength, elasticity, and that youthful shine. Bone broth, gelatin, or collagen peptides can all help replenish it. But again, collagen needs vitamin C to cross-link properly into usable form. You see how everything connects. No nutrient works in isolation. It's a symphony. One nutrient that often gets overlooked is silica. Silica strengthens both hair and connective tissue. You can get it from cucumbers, bell peppers, and horsetail extract. It's subtle but powerful. Over time, it gives that thicker strand feeling people notice after consistent use. Another important cofactor is B vitamins, especially B6, B12, and folate. They regulate methylation, a process that affects gene expression and detoxification. Poor methylation can lead to elevated homocysteine, which constricts blood flow to the scalp. Leafy greens, eggs, and liver are some of the richest sour Yes, this is why traditional diets with organ meats produced stronger hair generations ago. We've drifted too far from nutrient-dense foods. Let's move to trace minerals: manganese, molybdenum, selenium. These might sound like chemistry terms, but they act like spark plugs for your enzymes. Selenium, for instance, supports thyroid function and protects the scalp from oxidative stress. Just 2 Brazil nuts a day provide enough selenium for most people. That's how small but precise changes can make a difference. Hydration ties everything together. Water delivers nutrients, but minerals keep that water inside your cells. If you're constantly thirsty, fatigued, or have brittle hair, it might not be lack of water. It might be lack of electrolytes. Add a pinch of sea salt to your water or use mineral drops. You'll notice your energy improves and your scalp won't feel as dry. Now let's talk about external care, because while internal healing is the foundation, your scalp also needs attention. Massage your scalp daily with gentle circular motions. This increases blood flow and stimulates follicle activity. You can enhance this with natural oils: rosemary, peppermint, or black seed oil diluted in coconut or olive oil. Rosemary oil in particular has been shown to perform, as well as minoxidil in some studies, but without side effects. Apply it, massage for a few minutes, then let it sit before washing. Be mindful of how often you wash your hair. Overwashing strips away natural oils and disrupts the scalp microbiome. Try spacing washes every 2 or 3 days using sulfate-free shampoos. Think of your scalp as living skin, not something to scrub aggressively. The goal is balance, not stripping. Avoid heat styling and chemical treatments whenever possible. High heat damages keratin and dries out the hair shaft. If you must style, use a heat protectant and keep the temperature moderate. Remember, healthy hair doesn't need to be styled to look good. It naturally shines when it's nourished from within. Now, a very practical step. Check your environment. Chlorine in tap water, heavy metals, and pollution all affect your scalp. Use a shower filter if you can, especially if your local water supply is hard or heavily chlorinated. These small details add up over time. There's also something powerful about consistency. People start strong but give up when they don't see instant results. Hair regrowth happens slowly, half an inch a month if conditions are perfect. That's why patience and routine are your best allies. When you repeat healthy habits daily, you're sending a consistent message to your body: keep growing. And let's not forget oxygen. Regular exercise, even brisk walking, boosts circulation and oxygen delivery to your scalp. Think of oxygen as fertilizer for your follicles. Without it, nothing grows. Combine that with deep breathing and posture awareness. Many people spend hours hunched over screens, restricting blood flow to the scalp. Straighten up, open your chest, breathe deeply. It seems small, but it changes the way your body nourishes itself. Lastly, remember that healing is never linear. You might see shedding before regrowth. That's normal. Old, weak hair falls out, so new, stronger hair can take its place. Trust the process. Your job is to support the body, not force it. When you do, your body knows exactly how to heal,